Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests and not necessarily those of the staff or management of KLAV.
Good morning, everybody. This is Speak Out Radio. I am your host, Leon Catlett, and good morning, America, and Happy New Year's and all that. We are coming to you live from the beautiful studios of KLAV 1230 AM here in downtown, well, not downtown Las Vegas, just a little off the strip. But remember, we are the talk of Las Vegas, and because we are the talk of Las Vegas, this is a live call-in program. Remember, folks, you can call in here anytime, 731-1230, and become a part of the show. And if you happen to be listening online at KLAV1230AM.com, you can call in here 866-820-5528. As I said, I am your host, Leon Catlett. We come to you live every Friday morning, 9 a.m. here at the studios of KLAV, and today we have an interesting guest lined up for you today. His name is Aidan Monahan. I know most folks out there have not heard the name of Aidan Monahan, but that's not why he's coming on here with us today. He is not absolutely super famous, and he's not a guy out there, that's got his name and all kinds of stuff. However, he has some amazingly important information, something that I think is very appropriate for the beginning of the year. So much for that. Aidan, I'm so happy that you've joined me. There's my show blub right there, my flubber. Anyhow, I'm so happy that you've joined me on the show with this morning because now in the beginning of the year, last week I had a guy on that was really, we're talking about solutions and what we can do for our nation. Too many people are out there in doom and gloom, and we all discuss the symptoms and all the problems, but very few times do we really get out there and discuss action that we can take on an individual basis. And in my hunting around and looking for information, you made yourself known, and I have to say I was really impressed with what you've done, and I really wanted to bring you on because of exactly what I was talking about, the ability for us as individuals to take action in our country and have some positive effects. Now, and I want to explain to the folks out there that you're a part of a group, or I guess you're a poster, I'm not exactly certain how it works, but 911blogger.com, you're a contributor on that site, and you have done a ton of work with the Freedom of Information requests, and this is exactly why I really, and obviously, towards the end of the show, I want to talk about some of the information that you've got, but I want to talk about your efforts right off the bat with the Freedom of Information Act. This is something that every single person listening to this radio broadcast can do on an individual basis. People say, oh, what can I do? What can I do? This is something we can do, folks, and this is something, Aidan, that I'm really impressed with what you have done. And if you would then, please describe to people maybe a little bit about the Freedom of Information Act and what got you started in using this to your advantage.
Well, the Freedom of Information Act was created by President Johnson back in the 60s, and it basically allows for any individual to seek government records from any federal agency, and it also can be a state or even local agency who also have their own individual Freedom of Information laws. And I just noted that there, with regards to 9/11, there was a general absence of information via the FOIA on that topic. So, being a researcher of that topic, I decided that perhaps maybe more information could be found via the FOIA. So I decided to, with respect to all of the compelling aspects of that event, seek information from various agencies.
Right.
The Department of Justice, FAA, NTSB, CIA, Securities and Exchange Commission, Secret Service, a few others I may have forgotten.
Out of curiosity, Aidan, what was your drive to get this information in the first place?
In general, I think I was very curious about, many of the absences of information regarding that topic, and there seemed to be no other avenues of research as of 2 years ago when I began this at my disposal, so I decided to undertake that angle of research and just go straight to the heart of the matter, which was the federal government.
Right. So what kind of success have you really had? I mean, have you found this to be a very effective tool?
Frankly, what I have found in general, and I think people who have covered my my work would agree that there's just an overall, still a general absence of information regarding 9/11.
Right.
There have been some interesting anomalies I've noted through information I've received, but in general, there's very little available, in my opinion, and based on what I've done so far, to the public regarding 9/11 from the federal government via the FOIA.
Right. Well, and
unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just going to say that is kind of unfortunate considering, the magnitude of the event and the availability of information that a free and responsible government should, be providing.
Yeah. Either there were absences of records or information requested was exempted behind non-disclosure rules created by the agencies themselves. I've had to sue a couple of times. I am currently there's currently a lawsuit underway with the Department of Justice for various 9/11 records that hopefully might put to bed some of the controversies regarding 9/11, such as the Pentagon and other issues.
But Aiden, and now you weren't able to get the information you needed, and so you were forced to have to sue these agencies?
Correct, yes. With respect to the FBI, the information I requested from them was exempt from disclosure. I appealed the initial determinations, and which were subsequently upheld by the appeals contacts with the Department of Justice. At that point, one is allowed then to, through the federal courts, file a civil lawsuit for those records and have a judge determine whether or not such records can or cannot be released.
Right, I see. Funny enough, I personally think that this technique is very valuable. However, I mean, in talking with you and seeing what other people have done also, it is a battle to deal with these FOIA requests. Am I not mistaken?
Yes. Based on research I've done in that area, it is the opinion of others that in recent years the agencies have basically they almost dare you to sue them.
Right.
According to some people, that I've whose opinions I've followed, and it just in my own experience, just some of the most important records that one would think are there, in fact, are not. There's just so many.
It's funny enough, I wanted to explain, folks, how this is such a great, valuable tool that we could use. And I'm sure this is going to sound to a lot of people like it's nothing but frustration. But it's my contention that if enough of us start asking for information, I mean, I'd love to see a FOIA campaign go on to where, there's a fairly substantial number of us that are requesting information from these agencies on a regular basis.
Yeah, they're quite easy to do, actually. Most of the agencies allow one to make a FOIA request online.
Right.
And, if you know what you're asking for, you can literally wrap one up in about 5 minutes.
Oh, well, okay. And so, in other words, it could potentially be very effective. It's just a matter of following through.